Headlines burning, chaos on the feed. Woke mob shouting what we're allowed to read. Aliens landing while the pundits cry. Hollywood melting while the markets fly. Anthony! The Conqueror!
Welcome to this episode. I'm going to delve into the world of the supernatural, ghosts, specifically poltergeists, anything like that. This is a subject that I'm always torn on because I feel like I've experienced some supernatural moments in my life. I remember when I lived at my auntie and uncle's house before I joined the Navy. And I remember my cousin had a guitar in the corner of the room, and one day when I was alone, it just fell forward from the bloody wall. And then I remember one night that I was in the back garden, I looked up at the the room that I was staying in, and there was the silhouette of an old lady, and the blind had come down. Sounds crazy. I know people have stories, but even people I know who are skeptics have their own stories. So are they dead people? Is it an afterlife? Is it a case of parallel dimensions, or is it spectrums? I know that's something that people talk a lot about now, light spectrums, different levels of light. And there was always that story of the Vietnam War where you had the American soldiers that used this new infrared at the time. And they were saying that they were seeing things on the battlefield. Were they seeing things, or were they just suffering PTSD? So sadly, it's one of those things that has never been proven to be exactly true. And now, which makes things harder, is AI. What is true and what is not? So, sod it. Let's just jump in. Let's see what videos are flying around at the moment. Because I used to watch a lot of these videos years ago, before AI, and you either debunked it and said no, that was physically manipulated and was a hoax, or you would say, oh, that's unknown, therefore it must be something supernatural. But now, even if we had a video of a ghost right in front of our face talking to us, same as an alien or a Bigfoot, naturally people are just going to say it's AI, and of course they're probably correct. But if there's 100 of these videos around, then 99 of them are probably AI, but one of them must be real, and we don't know which one is bloody real. So let's have a little look at this video. This one's from Depths of Despair. Please like and subscribe their channel. I know there's a lot of creators out there who have some very big channels. So Spooks, Slapped Ham, they're very good. But I decided to go for something. I tend to go for the channels that have lower subscribers or lower views, because sometimes you see videos that are not on these more mainstream ones. So it's nothing personal. So there we go, Depths of Despair. Please go ahead and have a look. Let's jump into this. Let's see what's going on.
Appalachian Mountains.
It's always the
A
Appalachian
concerned
Mountains.
mother named Felicia lives in a secluded
Felicia,
area
you got to be kidding me. Look how she was. I'm sorry, not doing stereotypical. She calls herself Felicia. She's got the head wrap and everything. Okay, all right.
named Felicia lives in a secluded area within the Appalachian Mountains, right at the intersection where the mountains meet the gypsum mines. They have experienced a lot of strange and unexplainable things that happen at night that they have mostly gotten used to. Felicia has tried setting up cameras around the property from 3 different companies, but for some reason they always say video unavailable. One day during the daytime, Felicia hears her son crying after he heard his father and sister's voice coming from the porch, but they weren't even home.
What'd you hear?
I heard a help or something.
On the back porch?
There's one back there.
Okay, hold on.
And then it's like I heard Lila's voice say it, and then I heard Dad just say hey, and I didn't do anything about it because Is it? I don't know.
Sissy's voice?
Yes.
It sounds a bit scripted. I mean, I hope it's not, because whenever people get their kids involved to sort of go along with their hoaxes or their trends or whatever it may be, it's cringe, man. It's wrong and it's cringe. So I really hope that this is more of a genuine case. And naturally, whenever you suspect something paranormal, you do want to capture it on camera. But nowadays, we live in a time where it's like, oh my God, look, there's a ghost. All right, hang on one moment. Let me get my phone out. And instead of recording that particular thing ASAP, which is a struggle as itself because it takes like 5 seconds to open your camera, the first thing people are doing is starting to film themselves so people can see their reaction. It's like, we don't care about your reaction. We want to see what's going on. Let's proceed.
And then I heard some whistling.
I need you. Okay. I need you to. Okay. All right. I'm going to stay upstairs because Gunnar is freaked out. He's freaked out. All right. It was loud, and it was
And
Lila.
then I heard Dad's voice just say, "Hey."
Yeah. So there's two different voices on the back porch. I'm not opening the door. I am upstairs with Gunnar right now. There's nobody out there, Michael.
While waiting for help to arrive, she begins to hear it too.
Oh my God.
It sounds like a cat. It sounds like a cat. If I just go back a little bit.
Oh my God.
Of course the dog's heard it because it sounds like a cat.
Why is my door opening? But there's nobody out there. Look at all the dogs.
Yeah, your dog stood by the door. It's not barking or anything. It probably just wants to go out for a piss. So far, these are the videos that annoy me the most. I'm not a skeptic about every video. I'll try and debunk it. I'm no expert. But, you know, I know enough about the topic to sort of suggest what is real and what's not, and there's a fly in my way. But these ones, it's like the source. Trust me, bro. I mean, let's give it a chance, of course.
Don't mind the beat band. Look at the dogs.
Look at the dogs.
They are froze.
It's probably just got something in its nose.
She hears a voice calling out for help. And even the dogs begin to freeze and start huffing and forcefully exhaling, as if they were sensing something nearby. She continues to record, then this happens.
Look at the dogs. Don't.
As the dogs approach the window, they are suddenly startled by something outside. Felicia is deeply unsettled as this type of event usually happens at nighttime, but
Yeah, because it's probably a cat and it's pissing the dogs off and they're freaking out. The dogs are dogs, yeah? They do the most random, crazy shit. They really do. So, yeah, let's carry on.
nothing this bad has ever happened during the day. Worried her kids might follow the voices outside, she doesn't know what to do. Drive by.
That's it? That was it? So we literally just had a video of a woman. It's like, there's noises outside the house. It sounds like someone saying help. It sounded like a cat. My dogs are frozen. Well, dogs are dogs. They do that stuff. I would be more concerned if the dogs were running towards the door, barking non-stop and growling, and that would be a bit more of a concern. And then you look outside, and then she says it always happens at night. Well, yeah, because cats are nocturnal creatures, foxes too. I grew up next to a forest, yeah, a couple of times in my life. The amount of shit that you hear at night sends shivers down your spine. So people who say it always happens at night. Of course it does, because that's when everything's more quiet. There's less traffic. There's less people. It's when nocturnal animals come out. So I have to throw that one off. And I think that was more of a narcissistic video. She just wanted to make content by the sounds of it, or from what we've seen. Let's go to the next one. Let's hope this one's got a bit more to it.
A man named Tad Gavin is a car enthusiast whose content is solely about driving luxury cars to different locations and taking pictures and videos of them. However, late one night while he's driving around looking for a nice place to take some pictures and videos of his white Corvette, he captures something deeply unsettling that startles him. Watch closely.
I missed that.
Oh my god! What the freak was that?
It's extremely dark and hard to see what he saw that gave him the chills, but in the video he says he saw a dark figure approaching him from the side of the road. Luckily he had more cameras placed inside the car to show from a different angle. Take a look. From this angle you can see a tall dark figure.
It's a tree. Am I going mad? That looks... Look, let's just play it here.
Moving very close towards his car as he speeds past.
That's a tree! Am I going mad? That's a tree, right? It's not a dark figure, it's a tree. Please, honestly, I hope we get some content where I honestly sit here and go, oh my god, that's something unexplainable, but so far this is explainable. It looks like a bloody tree. Look, I've driven at night and driven through the mountains. I remember once with my brother and we saw what we thought was a silhouette, but we couldn't be sure and it kind of moved. But look, when it's certain weather conditions, humidity levels, wind pressure, when you're driving at certain altitudes as well and certain speeds and the light of your car, depending where they're positioned and the types of light, blah, blah, blah. There's a lot of science, I'm sure. These things affect what you see, and then your mind, I can't remember that syndrome, it's that thing where people are always looking for something that's not actually there. And most of the time we know in the paranormal world this is the case. But so far we've got a video of a woman called Felicia from the Appalachian Mountains, and it's all about her clearly and her dogs and absolutely nothing. And then we've got one guy who claims that he's seen a ghost and a shadow, and it turns out what I consider here to be a bloody tree. I mean, we'll play it again, but I tell you what, I think people are getting desperate. What makes me think that this one is particularly scripted and he's just trying to promote himself because of his cars and stuff is the fact that he goes, "What the freak? What the freak was that?" Mate, if you see a ghost, like, trust me, I remember when I thought I saw a ghost or something unexplainable. What the freak is not your vocabulary that day. The other words come into play, trust me. So, what the freak? No one says that. Anyway, let's go. Looks like a tree.
Narrowly missing it. It appears to be a mass of darkness with no discernible features whatsoever. He says that after he passed it, the figure stopped moving and just stared at his
That's a
vehicle
different
as he
video.
drove
That doesn't look like the one that we saw before, because that looked like it was a moving shadow then.
off. Many viewers believe this is a bad omen, a sign that something bad may happen to him, like a car crash in the near future. But as always, let me know your thoughts on this one.
That last little bit there was a bit more compelling, but is it actually the same video, or have they hashed
Stared at his
it?
vehicle as he drove off. Many viewers believe this
Like, why did they even show the first video of him just driving, POV style? Why didn't they just show this and the other one?
is a bad omen, a sign that
Yeah, that looks more like a figure. That could be anything, man. That's the problem. Could be one of those shadow people. We've all experienced, I'm sure, moments where you see a glimpse in the corner of your eye of somebody shifting out the way. So it's a possibility.
something bad may happen to him, like a car crash in the near future. But as always, let me know your thoughts on this one. Party store.
Party store.
The following video was taken on January the 26th of 2026 by an employee who works at a party store. There had been many rumors of the store being haunted, and he had experienced many things himself, but was never able to capture anything on camera. Until one day, while working an early morning shift alone during closing hours to sort out pre-orders, he felt a balloon suddenly rush against his leg under the desk. But he was sure the room was empty and this balloon wasn't there moments ago. So he checks the CCTV footage and saw something unsettling.
Okay, let's give it a bit more chance. First of all, one thing you'll always notice, a lot of these videos, they tend to come from like businesses or people with a business, or content creators. And the pessimist in me can't always help but think that they're trying to promote. So for example, this guy does this video and people within a 100-kilometer radius might think, hey, let's go to that store and see if we catch anything. And while we're there, we'll end up buying some things. The pessimist in me always believes it's just marketing a lot of the time, even if people consider it negative, that's what it's likely to be. So let's see. From what I'm seeing so far, it's a helium balloon. Yeah, and if they get a tiny little hole in them, mix that with the fact that it was in the main aisle of this shop, so there could be a door at the other end. It could be just the wind pushing it through. All you have to do is have a door open, and in the office where this guy is, perhaps a window open, or the room next to him, or a storage room with a door open, and this could naturally blow through. So the thing I'm always looking for is like silhouettes, shapes, voices. When it comes to like balloons moving around, of all things, I'd have to take it with a pinch of salt.
What the fuck? He noticed.
I suppose it is weird how it goes under his table.
Nor did it move like it was being pulled by a string, by the way it sharply turned corners and maneuvered.
Yeah, it is quite impressive that it's moved around, but like the commentator was just saying, it could be just string. If you use like fishing wire or fishing line, you can get them so thin you cannot see them to the naked eye, even if you're a foot away from them. So.
But somehow, it flew low from the other side of the building straight to the man in his office. Later on, after his colleague started her shift and it was just the two of them, she came to him and said she just popped a blue balloon. After it followed her into the break room, and she heard footsteps even though it was just the two of them on shift. So is this store haunted? I'll let you be the judge.
Well, it's more compelling than the other videos we've seen, but again, easily hoaxable. So yeah, let's see.
The gym. Danny works at the gym.
You see what I mean? It's the same thing every time. It's a gym. It's a shop. It's an influencer. I always try to do the videos of just a random guy at home. He works from home. I know that we had one in the UK. I'll find it and do a video where he followed a series of events, and maybe he was hoaxing it, but for entertainment values, it was great. But he didn't ever advertise his business. You never knew what he did. And to me, that seems more genuine. When it comes to gyms and stuff, it's guaranteed during this video, probably at some point, you'll see like the name of the gym in the background. We saw it in the previous video as it was moving down the aisle of the shop. It said like Party World. There was a sign. It's like, great, yeah, subliminal messaging. Okay.
Where he says unexplainable things have been happening. On one night it's 10:30 p.m. and he is on the closing shift by himself and has closed up the gym, and while finishing at the reception desk, he hears something strange that makes him pull his phone.
Why is he filming his laptop? He's at work, film a laptop. I mean, you can't do that in your job anyway. And he's filming him walking around the gym, kind of nice to show it off. Again, I'm trying not to be pessimistic, but I don't know, it's just nowadays let's watch it.
Now to record. This is what he captures.
Pero esta es mi área de trabajo. Y ese es el gimnasio. Está cerrado con llave. O sea, como puedes ver, está cerrado con llave. Y justo de aquel lado, justo allá, por ahí, se escuchó que algo se movió. O sea, las barras olímpicas se escuchó como las volvieron a poner ahí en su lugar. Porque cuando las ponen en su lugar tiene un sonido muy específico. Y justamente ahí, me lo voy a poner ahí. Esa banca de ahí, cuando yo estoy desde mi escritorio, se alcanza a ver. Y literalmente se vio como alguien se asomó como hacia acá y se volvió a meter, se escondió. Se empezaron a escuchar ruidos, ahorita está la música y tal vez este video tenga copyright, pero se empezó a escuchar el sonido y... ¡Ay, puta madre! Ahí está, ahí está, ahí está. No, no.
Although the gym is closed and locked, what sounds like gym bars and equipment can be heard moving. And Danny mentions he saw a face peeking out at him while he was standing at the reception desk.
Or he could have just, like, quickly, thrown, like, a stapler on the floor next to him. Like, oh, you hear that noise?
But there's nobody there other than himself.
And he said he saw a face, but we always hear that. You always get, like, 5% of it on camera, and then there's, like, a whole friggin', like, an anthology of events that happen that they just coincidentally never find or record.
After trying to recreate the sound himself, he realizes it was the sound of someone re-racking a barbell.
Lo que se escuchó literalmente fue esto. El sonido y...
Not sure what the explanation for this could be, Danny brushes it aside and continues working. But around a month later, something strange happens again that convinces him that something paranormal is responsible. Watch closely.
Porque esto pasa muy... ¿Viste? O sea, mira, vamos a pensar. Son 10:35. Ahorita ya no debe de haber nadie. No voy a poner ni pausa ni nada.
Footsteps are the worst one, though, because I've heard footsteps as well. I remember going to my cousin's house years ago, an old house that she was living in, and they always joked about the top floor, and it was always hot up there. And I remember hearing, because they had wooden staircase, like the old style, and I remember hearing footsteps coming up behind when we went up, and yeah, it is freaky. The footsteps is always a freaky one, because your imagination runs wild, and you start thinking something's running towards me.
Ajá. Tú lo escuchaste. Yo lo escuché. Tú lo... No voy a poner pausa porque la neta me llaman loco, me dicen es el aire, me dicen son tus energías. No estoy loco. No estoy loco. Está cerrado. Está cerrado. Digo, si lo fuerzo no quiero romperlo, pero...
There is nobody in the gym and he hears what sounds like someone running up the stairs.
Look, apart from the steps, the footsteps, everything else is either supernatural or conditional, like physical conditional explanation. Could be, look, from the sounds of it, they're in South America, I guess, Mexico, Colombia, perhaps somewhere there. I know there's some seismic activity in these areas. It could be that he said it as a month. Like, when it's paranormal activity, it usually builds up. So someone might be working, they hear it once, a few days later, twice, and then it becomes more regular. But a month apart, it could be a 3 or a 4 on a Richter scale earthquake. Not enough that it does anything to you, and I've experienced them myself, but enough that things vibrate. You might have a cup of coffee on your desk and you can just see the ripples, and in this case it could explain the swaying, it could explain the metal hitting against metal. I'm just giving benefit of the doubt. A lot of it can do that, but at the same time, the footsteps is a hard one to explain. And I've worked night shifts before, like a lot of us watching as may have as well. Night shifts can really mess around your head. I remember doing it in an office. I was all alone. It was an office that fit like 30 odd people. and I was on my own for literally 7 to 8 hours until the next shift come in. And yeah, there's things that you think you see, there's things you think you hear all the time, and a lot of the time, like I said, it's usually physical. So it could be a weather condition, or in my case, where I live, it gets really hot in the summer. So certain like office buildings sort of expand, shrink at night because of the temperature changes, and that can cause creaking. So there's usually, most of the time, an explanation. But let's see what goes on.
And sounds coming from behind him too. But as he goes upstairs, he notices 3 punching bags all swinging on their own, behind a locked door with nobody around. Danny now believes the gym is haunted, but hopefully we get some more updates soon. If you have any video recommendations, you can send them over to depthsofdespairbusiness@gmail.com or tag us on TikTok at depthsofdespairyt.
For number one, it
In
should be
the
good.
studio. On January the 21st of 2026, a man named Ramirez has been experiencing unexplainable paranormal events inside his tattoo studio. He recently received a mirror from one of his clients, and supposedly someone hung themselves in front of it in the past. Another client also gave him a strange doll which he kept in his house, but his wife told him to get rid of it.
What is it with people and dolls? I do not understand it. I do not understand it. I'm not saying that I necessarily believe dolls get possessed. It's just weird. In saying that, I have got like Game of Thrones models and stuff up there, and I love my Warhammer. But you know what I'm on about, like these Victorian Annabelle dolls. Why do people have them? I understand if you've got a whole display and it's a hobby, but in this sort of case, it's like in the bedroom. His wife doesn't like it, but he's just got it on the side. It just seems a bit weird, man.
Because it was creepy. So he brought it to the studio, and since then things have been getting worse. Late one night he arrives back at the studio after forgetting his charger when he hears what sounds like the door being kicked from the inside. So he decides to record and captures something chilling.
Buenas noches, amigos. Oigan, miren, vine aquí al local porque se me olvidó mi cargador. Y ahorita que venía aquí casi por el bote de basura, oí que patearon la puerta. Y me puse a grabar, pero empecé a notar en la persiana que se movía. Miren, parece que se oye como se mueve la persiana, o sea, cómo cruje. Entonces ese polvo es polvo de la calle. Es que es una calle de... pues es de tierra. Miren. ¿Qué les dije? ¿Qué les dije a la verga?
Right, that actually did get me there. I'm not, that can easily be manipulated or faked, but it just reminds me of what I went through years ago. In my case, it was a case of seeing a silhouette and the blinds coming down. But they do, if ghosts exist, they seem to love blinds and things like that.
Miren, voy a entrar.
Yeah, because that's what you do, though. Go in it. Look, if you saw that and you knew nobody was in, why the hell would you just be entering it straight away? Or at least I don't know, man. I'd be calling for backup or something. 100%.
Para que vean que no hay nadie adentro. Todo en una toma.
Or maybe even the police, because you would naturally think that's a person. There's someone in my house that shouldn't be there. You start calling people. Where are you? I'm not home. I don't know. Maybe.
Ay, perdón con mis 20,000 vueltas, pero es una llave de seguridad. Miren. O sea, no ha salido nadie, miren. Voy a entrar. Voy a cerrar la puerta rápido. Miren. Voy a prender aquí la luz. Y miren. No hay nadie. Miren. Para que no digan que sí, que hay alguien adentro, no sé qué tanto. Ay, güey. Bueno. Ay, es que eso de la persiana sí lo había escuchado saliendo de aquí del local, pero la verdad no le ponía mucha atención. Miren, tuve que cambiar un poco las cosas del lugar porque cada año, pues, acomodar todo, ¿no? Pues me voy a asomar al baño para que vean que no hay nadie. Oye, ¿cómo está la puerta? Me traje el espejo aquí al baño. Miren, voy a cerrar atrás la puerta para que vean que no pasa nadie. Me traje el espejo aquí al baño porque estoy remodelando, estoy reacomodando todo. Miren, no hay nadie. Miren, miren. Que no digan que hay alguien escondido. Miren, yo estoy dentro del baño, no hay nadie. No hay nadie. Miren. Ok, miren, voy a estar grabando así, que vean que no va a salir nadie. Miren.
Thank you.
No mames.
The shutters inside the door open apart as if someone was peering through, but as he enters and searches the studio room, there's nobody there. But just after searching the place, the bathroom door suddenly closes on its own. But once again, as he looks inside, there's nobody there. On another night, he hears a noise coming from inside the studio, and when he looks, this happens.
Pero por ejemplo, uno de mis hijos, algo.
Just before we get to the next bit, the thing is, I always remember seeing this. The World of Mr. Gray's a YouTube channel. He's fantastic. He debunks as much as he can. I don't know his background. I think he's worked perhaps in editing or something, so he knows what to look for. Really, the cheapest and easiest way to hoax anything is fishing wire, fishing line for people in the UK. For example, this guy, I'm not saying he did here. This is a bit more believable than the other videos. But all he has to do is, like, for example, the blind, fishing wire, he's outside, he can pull it with his foot and it's tied, goes under the door, and he just pulls it a little bit towards him. It would have that effect, because if you look at it, it looks like the blinds went down in the middle, or it could be someone's finger, but you would see the finger. And in this case, the door, again, just have some fishing wire tied to the handle on the other side of the door, and again, you could just pull it with your foot. In fact, you could have both connected together, and it could be doing a kind of jiggy thing, if that makes sense. But let's see what's happening now. Let's hope that it's gone away from the weird doors opening.
Déjenme. A ver si se logra captar poquito lo de la persiana. Ay, me picó algo. Ay, espérame. Ahí está. Ay, perdón, es que me dio comezón.
It's always potato
Como les
caps,
decía,
isn't it?
preferible que me pase a mí que le pase a otra persona, ¿no? Yo escuché como ruiditos acá en el baño. Ay, caray. Como que se escucho yo en el baño y de repente escucho acá por donde está la computadora. O sea, como que me trae de arriba abajo, como que para que no me concentre en un solo lugar.
He's got some scary mask in the corner. I'm really hoping like one of the masks starts like turning its head or something. That's the stuff that people want to see. Let's see.
Chingados fue eso. Ah, no te pases de verga. No, ya me voy. No, banda, ya me voy. Vean, la muñeca se cayó. Vámonos, banda. Ah, ya desconecté. Uy, cabrón. Ah, chinga tu madre, Nel. Muchas gracias, amigos, pero Nel, ya me voy.
The doll that was standing up inside the display box suddenly falls over on its own. At that point, Ramirez has had enough and just leaves the building. He then decides to set up a CCTV camera in the room, and on another night, around 9:20 p.m., this happens. Afterwards, he enters the studio and checks the bathroom and finds nobody there, and the CCTV footage didn't capture anyone moving in the room, except for some strange movement that can be seen with the doll. Yet somehow, he finds a footprint that appears to be barefoot and fresh. So is the mirror and the doll causing strange things to happen.
Hang on. So he originally had the doll on top of the counter. He then put it in the counter and it fell over. And that's when it freaked him out, naturally. And then he put the doll over by his cabinet. Mate, you obviously suspected it was the doll. Why didn't you just take it and bury the thing or burn it or something? I don't know.
Or is there another explanation for this? I'll let you be the judge.
Yeah, there is another explanation. It's another guy probably trying to promote his business. We saw a studio. The previous guy was working at a gym. The guy before that, a party store. Then it was a guy who had supercars and was a photographer and owned them and hobbyist. The only one here that's not like a business owner was the first one called Felicia, and she was like an influencer by the looks of it. So it's not top 5, it's top 6 because we got a bonus one here called Flash. Well, let's see.
Flash. On one night, a man captured a strange flash of light on his CCTV inside his house just after 9 p.m. After taking a look at the footage, he saw this.
Vean la cámara sale y entra el infrarrojo. Vean eso, pero ustedes ahorita ven la luz, se ve muy rara, vean ahí. Ahorita les voy a mostrar a ustedes. Eso que se ve ahí es una esfera. Yo ahorita la estaba viendo, es una esfera. Pero ahorita les voy a mostrar quién trae en la mano esa esfera. Vean ustedes y vean cómo se desaparece. Vean eso que les voy a mostrar.
Do you know what was freaky about that? I've got to go back. I'm not seeing what this guy's seeing. I think it's just clearly a lens flare or, like I said, light spectrums and how our eyes perceive it and so on. What freaked me out was this. Where is it?
Ahorita les voy a mostrar a ustedes. Eso que se ve ahí es una esfera. Yo ahorita la estaba viendo, es una esfera. Pero ahorita les voy a mostrar quién trae en la mano esa esfera.
Is this what he's referring? This is the scariest bit of this whole bloody. That's like an alien. Is that an alien model, like a mannequin he's got, an alien doll type thing, or is this a trick of light, or is this what he's referring to? Because, like, this is the freakiest part, and I don't think this is the intention of this part of the video.
Vean ustedes y vean cómo se desaparece. Vean eso que les voy a mostrar.
Oh, we're waiting.
Vamos a correrla manualmente.
Hope so.
Vean lo que está ahí.
Yeah, I'll tell you what's there. It's a pixel.
Vean esto que está aquí es un ojo. Y acá está el otro ojo. Vean, un ojo y el otro ojo.
Yeah, there's like an
Vean
alien
eso.
thing I was on about.
At the end of his house, a strange flash of light is seen.
So why is the focus in this video about the light when he's like, hey, look, there's eyes and stuff like that? That bit's a bit more freaky. Looks like an alien, doesn't it? So maybe it goes back to the old, parallel dimensions and things like that. We had the Miami Mall incident. I will do a video about that because, that's a really interesting one. So yeah, I would say this video is a bit misleading. He's focusing on the light all the time, and then he's like, "Hey, look, there's his eyes." And yeah, I noticed that before, mate. It looked like an alien to me. Easily, look, this is probably just a camera flare, and he's got like one of those cardboard cutouts or a mannequin of an alien, and that's the situation here.
The infrared camera, but just as he zooms in, it appears that the light seems to be coming from a creepy figure with big black eyes before eventually the flash gets brighter and disappears along with the figure. The man has no idea what he saw in his house that night. Now if you want to see the video where a man who practiced black magic passed away and...
Go ahead, subscribe. Look, it's not... When you get a lot of these videos that can be debunked or faked, it's never the content creator, it's never the channel. They're just putting out and letting people decide. But definitely the quality of evidence nowadays is one of two things. It's absolutely laughable, or it's most likely AI. Out of these videos, I want to see more. It's always the ones with voices, loud bangs, shadows. These are the creepy ones that can't be explained or easily explained. But when it comes to things like a door opening, and it's always in someone's business coincidentally, these things can be so easily done. Anyone can just get fishing line and do that. So yeah, anyway, well, look, thanks for joining me on this. I'm definitely going to do more of these, and I'll find some more compelling ones. Everything I do is first time reaction, so if I'm watching one of these videos, one about UFOs, cryptids, breaking news, whatever it may be, even music videos, it's always natural. It's like this is the first time I'm seeing it. Only certain videos I pre-plan. They might be more politics related, because you have to be careful with that. Make sure you don't do any fake news, fake information. Also, please like and subscribe, and leave anything that you would like me to react to. It could be movies, movie trailers, gaming, music, sports. I want to learn more about certain topics. Perhaps you could suggest. Definitely going to stick more with supernatural and UFOs and news related, right down to Hollywood and comedy, whatever it may be. So please like and subscribe. Have a great day. More's coming.